Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my Immigrant Diary. My name is Wale.
And my name is Precious.
Today we're going to be talking about an interview with one of the biggest organizations in the world and of course in the United States. My brother Precious was able to interview with CapitalOne and he's going to share his experience with us, and hopefully you'll be able to learn a lot and apply it to your own interview process. So Precious, please take it away.
All right, then, Wally, thanks for the intro. So basically, I just want to talk briefly about my experience with CapitalOne interview. I interviewed for Senior Associate Product Manager role. After the basic CV screening and HR screening, I was shortlisted for the first round. I'm sharing this because during the process of preparation, I couldn't find anything online that was really directed towards CapitalOne mini case interview for product managers. And so I did a lot of studying, did a lot of research. It was very broad, my preparation process. So I'm doing this because I'm hoping someone out there will find value in this. Also, for any other person who is just looking at learning how product manager interviews go, you can also find value in this. But this is centered around my experience with CapitalOne. The CapitalOne case topic will be on one of CapitalOne's existing products, CapitalOne Shopping, virtual cards, or CapitalOne mobile app. Interestingly, I still have my notes because during the course of the interview, it was remote, so it was online over Zoom. I had my notes while the interview was in progress. I was required to jot down some stuff because it was kind of interactive, and even a whiteboard and screen was shared with me. In my case, my interview was on CapitalOne Shopping. So it can be mobile app, it can be virtual card for you if you are watching this video because you're going in for a mini case interview. Interestingly, when the interviewer came on board, which will be usually, from what I was told by one of the directors, especially product directors actually. And so when the interviewer came on screen, the first thing is, the usual interview process of tell me about yourself and all of that stuff. I'm not going to go deep into that. I'll just go straight to the core areas of the interview. The interview was centered around 5 main segments. 1, business strategy, technology implementation, design, analytics, and leadership. It's important to note this point because they actually followed in a sequence during the interview. The first part was, like I mentioned, my interview was on CapitalOne Shopping. For business strategy, the first question was, what value does CapitalOne Shopping provide? And so you need to do your research. What I basically, said what you're thinking, some of the value CapitalOne Shopping provides. I can't remember all of the things I said, but this was in 2023, just under a year ago. So that was the first question. That was really all the question that I got for business strategy. So because it came with a lot of response from some of the value for, like I mentioned, branding, XYZ and stuff like that. The second question was a follow-up from the first one. So after talking about the values that I think CapitalOne Shopping provides, I was asked what kind of technology strategy would attract users. I wasn't sure about what to respond in that, I'll be honest, but I figured it as I progressed in my conversation, which is the fact that templates can be designed and these templates can be used on the web, on the mobile app and places like that. And so I can also share and can be sent out, and these templates can have links that can be clicked, forms and all that, just to create a sales funnel. And I shared all of my thoughts on that. And so that progressed to the next part, which is design. And in design, the interviewer shared the screen with me and they shared a template design and asked me what would I change in the design. I looked at the design and I offered my opinion about areas where I think improvement can be made on the design. But I also mentioned something that led to the next part, which was that the best way to be able to decide what design template to use is to conduct A/B testing. And he took it from there and said, okay, so moving to analytics, we have a sample table where we've done A/B testing for 2 templates. This is the table. He showed me a table of template A and template B and said, what are and asked follow-up questions like which of the template did do better or was better from the report. So I looked at the spreadsheet table, I looked at the data, just within the few minutes I had, I looked at them quickly and I made my recommendations. I wasn't too confident with my response, but that doesn't matter anyways at this moment. But I looked at the template, I wasn't sure, but they asked me certain follow-up questions like which did better, which would I recommend, and all of that stuff. So based on the data, I made my recommendation. And finally, I was asked about leadership, and leadership question was pretty tricky, and it went something like, oh, you have 2 weeks to deadline and this template has been approved by your director and managers. but the tech team have other projects on their template and cannot deliver your own template or your own technology until a month. So what would you do? And so I shared my opinion about how to go about, handling that kind of challenge and what to do. And that was it. And it was an eye opener because he helped me in the future interviews I had when I moved to America. And I want to be candid, Wally, that was my first major interview when I moved to the US.
I always like that. I remember my first interview when I moved to the United States. Guys started asking me some questions. I was just like, I don't know this one. I don't know this one.
Exactly. I mean, when he asked me about technology, I had to ask. I said, when you say technology, what do you mean? Because I was lost for a second. Like, technology, how technology implementation.
That response, asking questions, is a really good part of the interview. They actually expect you to ask a lot of questions during the interview.
Yeah, clarifying questions.
And I learned that over time. Actually, I went to like a few interviews. I had to pick up a lot of knowledge, and then after some time, I started understanding that I, as an interviewee, needs to find those opportunities, because as much as they are interviewing me, I should also be interviewing them, and then we're exchanging information that way. Especially for someone who is experienced, that's what the expectations is. So again, how long was the interview?
It was an hour, actually.
1 hour. Okay, I expected it to be that much. And also, I just wanted to suggest that you skipped over the first part of the interview, which is the introductory aspect, which is tell us about yourself and things like that.
Definitely.
For our listeners, you can always look those information up. Look at what is specific, especially to your market. If it's a US market, or what are the kind of responses that you expect? If it's in the European market or if it's an Asian market, you'll be able to find a lot of resources online that can help you to do that. The thing I just want to leave with everyone is that, yes, interviews are always tough. I'm grateful that you're sharing with us your experience, Precious. A lot of time you have to do research and it take a little bit of time to get used to things, but don't give up. You're always going to eventually land that job that is in line with what you want. Precious has gotten something in line with what he wants. I have gotten something in line with what I want. So I just want to encourage you all to keep pushing forward. Anything else you want to add, Precious?
No, nothing else. It was just what I wanted to talk about, and I'm glad that I'm able to put this out. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. We've talked about it several times, but we just never came around to doing it. But I'm glad that we finally put it out there, and hopefully someone who is doing a product manager interview would find value in what we shared. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Please like, share, subscribe. Really appreciate all those things. It really helps us a lot, a ton, and it costs you nothing. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
All right, bye for now.